Welcome back to a new post today. And very recently we've seen China having claiming Arunachal Pradesh as its territory. This was after Prime Minister Narendra Modi had made a visit to Arunachal Pradesh on the lines of campaigning for the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha elections. And during this time, China had expressed its displeasure over the visit of the Prime Minister to Arunachal Pradesh, which it claims as its territory. Let me tell you that China always depicts this in its maps too. So it claims the Aksai Chin territory and the Arunachal Pradesh. The border with India and China is called as line of actual control, and it was drawn during the British period. Now, the reason why Arunachal Pradesh is claimed by China is because of cultural proximity, cultural similarities, and also China says that it was a part of Tibet. Now, let me tell you that when the Shimla Agreement was being signed by the British India in 1914 and Tibet, who were participants, China also was a party to the agreement. At that time, they had agreed to the present border of the Tibet and Arunachal Pradesh as a border between India and Tibet, which is the autonomous region of China. But over a period of time, at that time Tibet was independent. It became a part of the China. It is an autonomous province now under Chinese government. And the change was brought in 1950. So after the 1962 Indo-Chinese War, China became more vocal, and its claim became stronger, especially in the Aksai Chin and also Arunachal Pradesh. Now both these regions are being claimed because of cultural similarities and proximity. It says that these were a part of the Tibetan region and they do not belong to India. So this is what China claims. However, India has been very strongly retaliated time and again that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and a sovereign part of India, and this is being agreed to upon by the Shimla Agreement that was signed between the Tibet, the British India at that time, and China, who was a party to it as well. So let me tell you that Arunachal Pradesh was formed as a state in 1987. Before that, it was a union territory. Priorly, it was a part of Assam. So like Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, even Arunachal Pradesh, which was called as Northeast Frontier Agency, was actually a part of Assam, which was a British province. So during the British period, that is before independence, we had Assam as a British province, and we had Manipur and Tripura as princely states. So over a period of time, the other northeastern states, that is your Meghalaya, your Manipur, your Nagaland and your Mizoram, were actually part of Assamese province, and they over a period of time became states. Few became union territories first and then became states. So this is how the whole northeast map was drawn, and this problem of claiming of Arunachal Pradesh became more vocal after India's independence. And let's see some of the important points as to what exactly and why China lays claims to this to Arunachal Pradesh. You have to remember the most important thing here is the Tawang monastery, which is the largest Buddhist monastery in the world, the second largest Buddhist monastery in the world, and therefore it says that Tawang, which is located very, very close to the border of Arunachal Pradesh and Bhutan, and says that it is part of Tibet because of the location of the Lhasa monastery in Tibet there. So let's see some. Let's have a quick review of why exactly. I told you the reasons why it's claiming China, but what exactly are the aims of claiming China? So one of the most important critical point is the tactical reason for this is the strategic location of Arunachal Pradesh, located at a tri-juncture between Bhutan and Tibet, which is now autonomous region of China, and the location of the Tawang monastery in the Tawang district of Arunachal Pradesh, which is seen as the second largest monastery of Tibetan Buddhism in the world. And Tawang also hosts, as I told you, to host the Lhasa monastery. So this monastery was founded in 1680 to 81 in the honor to fulfill the wishes of the 5th Dalai Lama, and China claims that the monastery is an evidence that the district once belonged to Tibet, and it cites historical ties between the Tawang monastery and the Lhasa monastery, which is located in Tibet, to support its claim over Arunachal Pradesh. Now, this despite the fact that we had signed the 1914 Shimla Convention, which included the Chinese representative as well as an equal partner along with the Tibet representative, and gave birth to the McMahon Line separating Tibet from the eastern sector of India. Now, it clearly defined the frontiers of the boundary between India and Tibet, but now China does not accept that agreement, saying that Tibet did not have the right to sign such an agreement with the British India. The other ground on which China lays claims is because of cultural connections and the Chinese anxiety. So Tawang is an important center of Tibetan Buddhism. There are some tribes in the Upper Arunachal Pradesh region which have cultural connections with the people of Tibet, and the Monpa tribe population practices this Tibetan Buddhism and is also found in some areas of Tibet. And on the basis of this, China says that Arunachal Pradesh is actually a part of Tibet, and that is a part of its autonomous province. Now, according to some experts, China fears that the presence of these ethnic groups in Arunachal Pradesh would at some stage give rise to pro-democracy movements of Tibetan movement against Beijing itself. And the next most important issue is about the political significance. So when Dalai Lama escaped Tibet in 1959 amid the China crackdown, he entered India and began to stay in India, escaped through Tawang and stayed in Tawang monastery for some time, and then went on to Dharamshala. This is not liked by China. The other most important factor is about Bhutan factor. So if Beijing were to gain control of, if you look at the map, if you see, we have a sharing, we have a adjacent border between Bhutan and Arunachal Pradesh. So Beijing, if it gets in, if it takes control of Arunachal Pradesh, it would mean that the kingdom of Bhutan would have China as its neighbor, and both in the western and the eastern sectors totally. So China is already engaged in construction of massive motor roads and infrastructure, let me tell you, to connect the strategic points in Bhutan and on the western side with China. And China also wants to extend its roads from Dokala to Gamachin, which is under the guard of the Indian Army now. And China's efforts to move closer to the Siliguri corridor is also seen as a security threat to both India and Bhutan. China is also expanding its railway network, let me tell you, in this region, which could give its military a very, very huge advantage over India and Bhutan. And the next most important issue is with regard to Arunachal Pradesh now having a strategic location. Let me tell you, Arunachal Pradesh is the closest location for India to target China in case of a war-like situation. Arunachal Pradesh is the best location for India to deploy its multi-layered air defense system for possible attacks on China in case if there is an attack from China, and for India to retaliate. Thus, control over Arunachal Pradesh will give India a strategic advantage over China. This is to defend itself. And the last one is water power. So we know that we share the Brahmaputra river with China, and China has a control over the upper parts of Brahmaputra river because it flows from the Tibetan region and then enters into India. So it has constructed several dams and can use this water as a geostrategic weapon against India by causing floods or even drought-like condition. The Sangpo river, which originates in Tibet, is called as Brahmaputra in India, and it is called in Siang and Arunachal Pradesh, and therefore China claims both the river and also Arunachal Pradesh as well. So in 2000, a dam breach in Tibet caused floods that wreaked havoc in the northeastern India, claiming many lives and also many hundreds going missing. So this is the way China can actually control the movement of the water in the dam of the Brahmaputra and also use it as a geostrategic weapon against India. So this is how China is claiming. These are the grounds on which, or the criteria on which China is claiming Arunachal Pradesh, which it calls as Zangnan, so in its own Tibetan language, and therefore it says that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of China and not India, and India should stop interfering or even visiting the place. This is what changes have already been done in the map. But let me tell you that in Arunachal Pradesh, previously known as the Northeast Frontier Agency, has always been a part of Assam. It was a part of the Assam British province, and we had signed the China Shimla 1914 Shimla Agreement very well, which was accepted for quite a long period of time. Only later these issues started to crop up. So it's only dialogue and discussion between the two countries which will have a peaceful solution solution to the border issues between India and China. We already have a dialogue going on between the Corps Commanders level talks of India and China with regard to Aksai Chin. De-establishment has still not been done there. There are 2 more locations for which de-establishment has to be done. So just because China has been intruding into India's territory, and it is not India who has been doing so. So this is about few points about how China is laying claim to Arunachal Pradesh and what is the criteria or the basis of which it is claiming Arunachal Pradesh. And if I hope these few points were helpful to you all to understand the issue further, and if you did, please do like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video, and I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning.